In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. It is really important thing. It is now the age of the informations. There was a time when people used to depend upon the information given from mouth to mouth, just to just one person to other person. Then came the age of newspaper where the news were available. Then the opinion or the analysis used to be used to get published in the newspapers. Then came the time of private TV channels. This was really a kind of revolution. Still, afterwards came the age of digital media. Digital media, television also included in the digital media, but the super highway of information became our smartphone and the computers. The people, once they are online, they can see the whole of the world. Now the people are getting the information, the free flow of information, every type of information. And there are people who are looking for the secret information because these secret information sell very costly. And now the people, the general public too, has become somewhat sensitized towards these things, towards these informations. And why? Because they want to show, they want to present themselves as somebody who is quite a knowledgeable one, who is quite an informed one. So these people are liked in the society, and that is why people are, desirous of receiving the information and then discussing and impressing the people they want to impress, the people they want to get closer to. It is okay up to an extent, although there is a negative side of it. The negative side of this is that the people have become less conscious and less alert, less sensitized toward the information, toward the news, toward the information which are actually very much vital for the survival, for a respectable, for a successful survival of a person, of an individual, and so on. So I knew a person who was a very wealthy person. He earned a very good amount of money from overseas. Then he came to his hometown, started investing in the commercial property, and constructed so many of the plazas, and a very rich person in that particular town. Then someone went wrong with his health. The sort of problem occurred in his throat. It was a kind of cough, and he kept consulting the people, the physicians around him. It took quite some time, and the disease was not cured. Then ultimately he went to the best available hospital in the country, and he was diagnosed with a throat cancer. And the physicians over there told him that it is a bit late. You should have arrived early. But okay, we are going to try. They kept trying, but the person could not survive, and he had to depart from this world. He died. So actually, he was not very sensitive towards the problem, which was a very small one. Whether there is a kind of disease which has just been started should not be taken small, shouldn't be taken lightly. I think we need to become somewhat serious, somewhat more serious. Maybe it was okay. This attitude was okay for a commoner, for the people who cannot afford the very expensive hospitals, for the people who cannot travel outside the city so easily, the people who cannot travel outside the country so easily. Maybe this attitude was okay for the commoners, but it was not okay for a person like this one. So then there is something even more serious, something even more, I think, sensitive. This is where we are going as far our habits are concerned. Where we are going as far our habits are concerned. We must be very, very concerned. We must be somewhat sensitized towards the kind of habits we are developing. We must be somewhat sensitive. We need to sensitize ourselves. We need to sensitize ourselves as for the habits of our loved ones are concerned. We must be, must be sensitized towards it. Because failing to sensitize ourselves, failing to sensitize ourselves result in something very bad. Later on later on the problem, the disease, the bad habit might reach an irreversible stage, or we might the more it develops, the more difficult it becomes to control it. So for that reason, I think that we need to control it from the very beginning. On the one hand, we need to prevent ourselves. On the one hand, we need to prevent ourselves. On the one hand, we need to prevent ourselves from gaining any habit like this one. Any Either we ourselves or the people who are our loved ones, for the people who are very close to us, for the people who are dependent upon us, for the people upon whom we are dependent, emotionally or otherwise, we need to become very sensitive as far these things are concerned. Because failing to become sensitive, because failing to sensitize ourselves the health toward the health of ourselves, toward the psychological health of ourselves, toward the physical and psychological health of our loved ones, the people who are dependent upon us, the people upon whom we are dependent upon. We need to become very sensitive as far these habits are concerned, as far our health issues are concerned, as far the general informations are concerned. I think that we need to reduce our interest in those general information. As for the specific information about our as for the specific information about our particular profession is concerned, it is okay. It is okay because it is a very competitive world. Because we need to remain very alert towards it, because we need to take certain precautionary measures against some of the information which are very important one. But what informations are important and what informations are not that much important, it can only be done once we are receptive toward every sort of information. Because we do have to choose what is more important, we do have to choose what is not so important. First of all, we need to gather the information. As for the information about our particular profession is concerned, obviously we cannot afford to remain ignorant. We need to become quite alert, we need to become somewhat sensitized towards it. That is fine. That is fine. That is nice. After that, I think that we need to become very careful. We need to become somewhat cautious. We need to become very alert. We need to become somewhat sensitized towards the informations regarding our health, towards the informations regarding our psychological health, towards the information which are regarding the kind of habits we ourselves are developing, and the kind of habits and routines, our loved ones are developing, the people who are dependent upon us and the people upon whom we are dependent. So this is, I think, something we must be very careful of. As for the informations are concerned, what sort of informations are quite necessary for us, quite important for us, we need to be aware of. We need to be aware of it. because becoming unaware will cost us very dearly. Thank you. Jazakallah.